We wanted to create a simple tutorial for Google Earth for our students who will be joining us in Rome. And we're going to use Google Earth in a couple of ways. What I have open here are the itineraries for our trip. And I just want to show you, it's a very simple interface. It's a very simple tool, but it allows us to do some work collaboratively, which will be pretty interesting to carry out. First of all, in this desktop interface, we can pull out or hide the folder structure and the individual elements that we make. We also have the ability to control some other layers. And so we can turn all of the other data on within the map. And so as we zoom in, we can see street names, restaurant names, everything that's there. And this will continue to load. But for the most part, I tend to use the clean option, which just basically hides all of the other information that's embedded within the map. And so once we set that to clean, we'll just see the information for the itinerary that we're sharing. The way that this is structured and the way that you create it, and I'll show you how to create your own elements and the way for you to embed your own work into this, but we can expand or we can create folders within a folder. We can expand this. I've got two elements within here. One is a line that I've created, and the other are individual pins. I've color-coded pins so that the blue are Rome sites, and the red pins are student on-site presentations. So this allows us to find our daily meeting point. If I double-click it, it will zoom in. We can see over the course of 4 or 5 days where we're going to meet in the morning. I can turn these on or off. And so if I zoom out just by scrolling to get to an overall sense of Rome and how much of Rome we're going to be covering, I can hide these by folder. I can hide individual elements. And so now I believe that I've hidden all days except for one day. And so this is nice that it allows you to filter out information to see different things. I can expand that itinerary for Tuesday. We can see individual portions here. So the Trevi Fountain is listed here. I can double click that and this will zoom in. I've set these individual views based on the pins, and I'll show you how to do that with your own work in a few minutes. But this is what we're trying to build, in that we can then overlay your AI, generative AI work into the map of Rome, and we can locate all of those things easily and overlay all the students' work at the same time. And so between having the lines or these kind of itineraries, and then different elements there. So with that kind of basic sense, we'll ask all of you to kind of go through and understand, basically go into the itinerary, take a look on Tuesday. Here's the daily meeting spot, and you can kind of click through these one by one. Okay, here's where we're going to meet. Then we'll head to the Trevi Fountain right, by walking across Rome. So we'll see that individual. We'll meet here, we'll come across the bridge, we'll come through the city, past the Pantheon, end up at the Trevi Fountain. We're going to move up. We're going to race up these stairs. We're going to get a view of St. Peter's looking back. We're going to walk to Bernini Church, then to the Borromini, San Carlino. Then we'll go to the Ecstasy of St. Teresa. So you can follow the itinerary with the individual elements that are here. We'll see that Zach is going to be presenting at the Baths of Diocletian, and then we'll head over to Termini, and Matthew will be presenting there. So given all these, and then on to the afternoon. So the map gives us a nice way to be able to collaborate, share these things, and allow you to follow along. So now let's create some pins of our own. And what we should be able to do, I'll see if mine is loaded correctly. I'll turn some of these back on. If I go back to my list, so we can see that with my non-LTU email account, I've shared 4 pins that are things that I imagine for Roam with AI. If I turn these on, our intent is that we'll be able to see Sarah and I, or you, can have the itinerary loaded, and then you can load all of your classmates' work here in the same way, organized by folders. And so with this, if I expand this or go into this, we see it extends. I don't have any folders set up here. I could, but we can see Castle St. Angelo. So if I click on that, what I've done is loaded an image and some text within here tied to this pin. So let me show you how to do that. I'll close this, and let's just start from the beginning. I'm going to close Google Earth as the web application, and I'll show you how to enter it and how to start a project. So let me close this. The easiest way that I have to find this is going into my email, and where I can see all of my Google setup and Google tools. If I scroll down within this, Google Earth is here. So if I click Google Earth and initiate that, I think I did that through my LTU account, so we can see these other elements here. They're both hidden. I can turn on the itinerary, and really what we're looking to do is to have a sense about where we travel with the course, and then where you're locating the AI scenarios that you're imagining directly on the map. And so this is going to tell us kind of a frequency and an intensity of locations based on all of your perceptions and understandings of Rome. So with this opened, and you don't have any other projects here, that's fine. We're going to create a new project. So I'll click New. We want to save this on our Google Drive because we want to be able to share this and have this collaborative. So I'll say Create. And this may be the case for you. I'm already in Rome. And so let's say it defaults to who knows where. Maybe it defaults to somewhere near Detroit or Michigan. You should then be able to even just go up here, search Google Earth, and type Rome, Italy. Some options will come up. Let's click this first one, and it should transport us to Rome. And we zoom in, we see some boundaries of Rome. We see this open up. And again, we can embed links, we can embed all sorts of things within here. I'm going to close this, all of that goes away, and then zoom in a little bit. So let's create a couple of pins that we'll then be able to share. So we've got an untitled project. Let's see, more options. For now, let's just edit the project details, and let's give it another name. So generative AI in Rome, I can add a longer description, say OK. If I want to organize these things by folders, I could do that, but we're going to be asking each student to develop about 20 individual kind of speculations on Rome. And so with 20, maybe we don't need to organize those within folders, but if we wanted to create a folder, we could add a folder. We're not going to deal with tile overlays or slides. So with this, there's no features here. If we come up to this upper portion, we can see that we can add place marks and we can add a path. We can also measure distances between things. So let me start, and I showed you one example a few minutes ago, which was at the Castle St. Angelo. I'm going to zoom in just enough to see it. It doesn't matter too much. And I'm going to place a pin at Castle St. Angelo. It's going to open this window up on the right. And why don't I just then create, I'll give it a name or a title. This is the title that we'll see over on the left-hand side. So when I press enter, that name, now we see organized here. In addition to naming the pin, we can do a couple of things. We can add media. You can add multiple images that you can upload, and this is probably the way that you're going to end up doing that from your from Midjourney. And so here's an image of Castle St. Angelo. I'm going to add a description. And what we're looking for you is to probably 3 to 5 sentences explain your thinking behind this. I tend to prefer small pins and smaller labels. And so between these two, what's actually changing is the icon size of the pin. Right? If it's extra large, we can see how big that pin becomes. Given all the number of pins and number of students that we're going to have in the class, I'd make that small. The label style, again, if I make that extra large, you can see then the text gets very large. So our preference for the class would be to set both of these to small. I would suggest you find a color and just keep a consistent color for all of your pins. That way, when we bring that in, we'll be able to differentiate from one student to the next. We can place our pins set to the ground. All of these are fine. The last option is capture this view. And so what we can do, if we really want to be zoomed in, we can zoom in, and it's basically like a screen capture, but it locks this location and how much of the surrounding area that we see as we double click on this pin over here. And so let's just see, we'll set all of these. I think we've done all of that. We have some text. You could add links, you could do other things, and you can also add multiple pictures if you have, or multiple images. If you have multiple images that you've imagined for that site, you can place them here. But with all of that done, I'm just going to click View, which essentially saves that over here. And let's make one more just so that we can toggle between them. So let's make another. I'll zoom out. Let's close that. And I think one other option I had, we can place over here. So it helps to kind of know on the map where you're going to be doing this. What we also imagine is that you'll be able to set these with your phone pretty easily. And so as we're out touring sites during the day, you could drop pins but not add the image yet, continue to work on the image, refine the text, and then go back that evening, find those pins, and then add more information. So let's add one more pin here. This is at Mount Testaccio. And again, I'm going to set both of these options to small. I think the color I selected was the pink color there. Let me add an image. I'm going to just upload this. minimize that. And then I can add a description, which might just be so now we have a title, we have our description, we have an image. We've set these to small, and then the last thing I want to do is maybe I'll zoom out a little bit more. In this case, have my pin at the center of the screen, and then I'll capture this view. We'll go back to view. And what should happen now as we come back, let's say we're looking at Rome, I can close this view. What it will allow us to do is to find these pins. I can click on the pin. That could take us to the card. I can also click or double click from the map, and we can see now it zooms us in to the way that we saved that previous view. I can double click this one. It brings us over there, brings this up, and if I click the image, which is also very nice, is that makes it full screen. And so this will give us a really great real-time way of interacting with the map data. It will locate your projects on the map, and then everyone in the class will be able to navigate those images, see the text, see what you're thinking about, and hopefully lead to some collaborative discussions within the group. Then what we can do is we'll share this out, and so we can see this is where I created that. We'll create a link on our spreadsheet, and then what you can do is share this, and I would recommend sharing it as view only. This is weird. Sometimes this hasn't been responding and it says to come back later, but what should happen is that like all kind of Google apps, this is automatically saving along the way. Yes, so it was created here. I can find it within my Google Drive. We can see Carl Generative AI in Rome. We can click here and we can share this out and share that link. We can say share. Given that it's our LTU, we can change this to LTU. And anyone that has from the LTU domain can be a viewer. I would recommend setting it as viewer so that that can't be changed. Copy this link and paste it into the spreadsheet, and then everyone can individually add all of the other students into their Google Earth. We should be able to do this on the fly with your phones as we're doing on-site presentations. So give it a try. Take a look at these things and get comfortable with this before we leave for Rome, because basically as soon as we land, we're going to start imagining possibilities for the future of the city of Rome. So let me know if you have any questions, and we're looking forward to playing with this tool within the context of everything that we've done within Rome previously. Okay, so we look forward to working with all of you. Thanks.